Hello and welcome to the Bear Right Trail podcast. I, of course, am your host, Sam Kirk, here with my co-host, Chris Lures, on a beautiful summer night. And
Yep.
we are stoked to talk about all the big news in trail running right now here on the
That's right.
East Coast, on the West Coast, around the world, and
Yep.
just so much going on. I feel like we had not had a chance to do this in a little bit, so very excited for tonight's chat.
Yeah, it's exciting. We have like you said, some East Coast races. One pretty impactful East Coast race.
Yeah.
With some national team implications. And then of course the Granddaddy coming up, Western States in a few weeks. Looking forward to chatting about all those things. And yeah, it's about that time. And the weather's heating up a little bit. Summer's upon us, and some fun races to chat about. So what are we digging into first here, Sam?
Well, first things first, we gotta dig into to your health journey.
Oh boy.
How are things going, man? Are you
Well,
up and running yet? What's going on?
No, I'm not. Ryan has Dr. Ryan Bear, our Bear Right compatriot and friend, and
The Bear and Bear Right.
the Bear and Bear Right, and that's right. That's right. And physical therapist at Flash Momentum. He has me at least this week. No running yet, because I sort of had a regression a little bit, which was like so frustrating. But he has me doing some like uphill, some like hiking, so I can do some power hiking, some uphill like treadmill work, which is actually been. So this week I just sort of started doing that. I asked him, I was like, hey, you know what? Like the bike's like sort of getting old. Can I do some like hiking? And he's like, yeah. So I've been doing some sort of hiking shuffling, and like I've never run. I'm not, the miles are low, but like the elevation, I'm like, why don't I incorporate this like all the time? Like I'm getting incredible vert here. And I'm like, I'm not moving fast, obviously.
Vert.
And I'm like, you know what? It gives me, it gives me something to look forward to. I'm like, I can't run the miles, but man, like, let's see how much vert I can get here. So it's actually pretty fun. So he's got me pointing in the right direction. We sort of commiserated a little bit here on Monday, but got me pointing in the right direction, man. So how about you, Sam? So let's get a glimpse into some of your training. I know you alluded to some of it here before we kick things off. So what do you got going on? How are you feeling?
Well, yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about things on the podcast previously about what I might have in store end of the summer this year. And yeah, I'm just trying to keep a little bit of volume going, trying to adapt to the heat that's starting to come into the East Coast now. And yeah, I mean, it certainly feels heavy out there right now. But yeah, I'm getting up to around 50 miles a week. And that's feeling okay.
Good.
Go on a vacation here. I've got my fingers crossed that I'm going to be able to do like mobility and strength work on vacation. That's going to be vacation focus. I think that's probably a pipe dream, but it's probably just going to be relaxing in Italy with, wine and pasta.
That's not a bad thing. That's a fun trip.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go.
Be a good time.
Maybe you can find a trail over there.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure I'm going to find some running, but yeah, I'm starting to feel like it's going to be 100-miler for me, and I'm going to try to get one of those right here.
That's good.
Speaking of 100-milers, the granddaddy of them all coming up here, and just so much news. I feel like, so just I'm going to backpedal a little bit here before we get into Western States, of course, the granddaddy. But
sure.
Chris and I went through some kind of crazy stuff after my interview with Ferdinand Herault, which happened a couple of weeks ago. The day after I recorded that interview, a bunch of things started happening with regard to other podcasts talking about some issues with one of Ferdinand's races at Black Canyon,
Mhm.
another runner, Scott Traer, had been pointing out some issues with his race and the way it was handled by the race direction. And then there started to be some more things coming in about canyons and all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff, which all happened after I had this interview. So
Mhm.
I started freaking out. Chris and I started recording other podcasts, but it was like a moving target. We'd
Yeah.
record a podcast and then the information changed again
Yes.
before I even got it edited and out. So we just kind of
Yep.
scrapped it all. And so that's why you haven't seen a podcast from us for a little bit, because we were chasing a moving target there, and
Yeah.
just felt like the information that we were discussing was then kind of already hashed out and in the past, and it was kind of nuts. But it's at least from my perspective, I'm glad things have got resolved. Spoke with Ferdinand since, he seems to be in a good place with it, and things along those lines. So uh, just
Yeah.
been a rocky road, and it seems like it's been a little bit of a rocky road for the start list of Western states too.
Yeah, I know. Well, so Jim Walmsley's out, and so that I guess broke week and a half ago, 2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
Hayden Hawks is out, but East Coaster Dan Green, coming off Cocodona, is in, uh, filling Walmsley's spot, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sam, I don't know if you had the chance to watch the documentary that the West Virginia guys did on Dan Green's Cocodona
I
victory.
haven't seen it. No, no.
It's awesome. It's really cool. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
a
awesome.
really
Yeah.
really well done documentary. Like super cool. But in that, okay, maybe no, it wasn't in that. Anyway, that's a separate feature. But another piece of like content I was watching with Dan Green, he said that he actually had then texted Jim and was like, "Hey, I'll make the bib proud," which is pretty cool. And Jim texted him back, it's like, you're in obviously great shape, like, go get him, sort of thing. So pretty cool that he's stepping into the, essentially Jim's bib, not the M1 bib, but essentially his place, right? Filling his place, which is pretty cool. So yeah, things have been,
Yeah.
shaken up a bit.
On that
Um,
front, have you heard anything in any of those releases and stuff like that?
mhm.
I have not, about why Jim is out.
No, I still have not heard that. I have
Yeah.
not heard that. No, I'm curious to. No, there's been really, it's been pretty silent. So I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know if there was an
And
injury or.
I would say, yeah, I mean, the other podcasts, I haven't heard much speculation
Yeah, I
on
haven't either.
what it might be. I know that as of maybe a couple of days before him withdrawing, he was I mean, Instagram things coming out about, like, runs feeling good,
Hmm.
and a couple of different things. I don't know whether this is injury related or not.
Yeah, yeah. It was this. I'm assuming this was. Well, yeah, he was already in Western. Chianti obviously performed well. I don't know what the rest of his race calendar looked like. Yeah, I haven't heard anything. And like you said, no speculation either. And I don't know if that's. I'm sure that's just to respect, Jim. But I have not heard anything. But Startless is gonna be. It's gonna be fun to. It's gonna be fun to see what shakes out here.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that, aside from, because I think you're talking about a couple of separate stories. So you have on Jim's side
Mhm.
of things with his withdrawal. We know what Hayden's withdrawal was about. He was,
Yeah.
had a surgery, needs more time to recover,
Yeah.
plans to be back for UTMB and the full UTMB this year. So that's pretty clear. Jim's reasons for withdrawing aren't clear at this point in time. So that his story is going to be his story. But the Western
Yeah.
States story this year, um, in the racing part of it, is not going to involve him, and I
No.
think that's a big deal, right?
It's a
Like,
huge deal.
with him out of the race, uh, it starts to take on a completely different shape. Uh,
Yeah.
it's
Oh
going to
yeah.
be really, I don't want to say like wide open, but it takes on a, I think everybody was going to be watching Jim, right? I mean,
Yeah.
there's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Yeah. He was the front runner. Like he was the guy. It was. I mean, even if Jim was in the race and Jim was 100% healthy, like, yes, track record, sure, of course he's the betting favorite, naturally, right? He's M1 and he's strong, and his, Chianti race would prove, nothing otherwise other than that. But with him out, I think that the psyche of, I know you're not running, well, you're trying to run within yourself, especially for 100 miles, but like, I think maybe consciously, admittedly, or maybe just, subconsciously, that's definitely going to affect some other runners' races. Like, if you know that and I think I'm looking at it in terms of this, like, if you're sitting like in the top 5, let's just say, and you have a good idea of who's in front of you, like you have, your crew telling you who's in front of you and how far up they are. Like, if you're, I don't know the specific mile marker aid stations, like what mile marker those, particular aid stations are. But let's just say you're like halfway through the race and you know that whoever, sort of take your pick is in front of you, and it's not Jim Walmsley. I just think you might be able to reel whoever it is in front of you in, right? Where like with Jim, like, I just think there's a bit of a doubt. If he has 10 minutes on you, like, over halfway into Western, like, that's going to be hard to come back from. And obviously it's going to be difficult, whoever's out there, Killian, Killian's Killian. So anybody can win the race, and anybody who is, starting to put a gap on the field can certainly continue to pull away. I mean, there's 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that could do that. But again, if it's Jim that's pulling away, it's different. Jim at Western States, it's like, it's just a different thing. Different, takes on a different, different sort of thing. So
yeah,
it's going to shake up the whole race.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things is that, I guess the thing is that they can't watch Jim anymore. They have to choose who they're gonna, like, runners. Choose who they're gonna watch now, because it's not like, it's no longer, hey, we all key off of Jim's race.
Jim's not the rabbit anymore. Yeah, Jim's not the rabbit. Yeah, someone else is the rabbit. Or like,
if he's hanging back, it's not like, there's no reason to push or whatever. There's that away, and because you're going to expect, like, if he's going out, he's not coming back, sort of, right? Like that.
Yeah, exactly.
That expectation. Whereas, like, let's say with someone like David Roche, right? He's clearly one of the, the biggest players in the space right now.
Sure.
So, but he goes out now. He has proven himself, right? He has proven himself. I mean, he's run, 12 whatever at Javelina, course record at Leadville. Course records all over the place. So I mean, he's
that Quad Rock race was that was quick, man. I don't know if you saw that, but he broke John Ray's record by like 15 minutes. Anyway, that was a heck of a sort of a benchmark measuring stick there.
Stuff, but also, the one thing I do want to point out is that, like, people running 6 hour and change 50 milers with a bunch of climbing in them. Now that one's got elevation, but like with a bunch of climbing, there's a bunch of people in this race that can do that. Like,
yeah, no, absolutely.
It's like, I feel like all these guys are really, really fit and really, really well prepared.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you can, like, point at any performance coming into this and say, like, well, that one's the real impressive one. Because he beat a John Ray record, but like John Ray was what, 9th or 10th at Western States last year? And and then you've got people coming in from Black Canyon, like, that demolished Hayden Hawk's course record, which was like supposed to be one of the best performances, like, ever, right? So like, all of these guys are crazy fit, and
it's tough. You can't like, you can't base. There's not one, like, measuring stick. There's not one, like, barometer race that tells you.
Yeah,
because Killian did like a 50-mile workout, like the same weekend or the same week at least, that David Roach ran Quad Rock, and it was like just as impressive, if not more impressive. Like the gap was lower and the elevation was higher, and it was it was a training run.
Yeah. And
So like,
Bill
yeah,
Murray
you
did the
can't
same thing a week before.
with you running with you.
No, 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 not with me, but like I happen to know that like he did a 50
Sam's in
miler
shape.
with
Sam's in
8,000
shape.
feet of climbing, you know.
Breaking news. Yeah, no, you're right. I know. Yeah, your
My
point.
point
I
is
get your
they're
point.
all doing this, right? Like
Hmm.
they're all crazy fit.
Yeah, you're right. There's
Yeah.
it's anyone's game, and I think it's going to be fun. Like I was looking forward to seeing Jim race. Like why wouldn't you, right? But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know that I'm any more excited or less excited, but I'm excited to see the race unfold differently. So
Yeah.
um,
One of the
yeah.
things that's interesting that I think starts to happen on the men's race is that, and you know, on some of the other shows, I heard this happening in the women's race as well, is when you have a field that's this deep
Hmm.
and you start getting focused in on certain athletes, right? So we start getting focused in on, and it's okay when it's Jim because he's got such gravity, right? Like, oh, we're all focused on Jim and you know,
Yeah.
who might have a chance at taking him down. But now that he's out of the race, you get to this point where we're, you know, talking about who the contenders will be,
Hmm.
and you're leaving out so many people
Yeah.
who are just incredible and you know are likely really going to be part of the conversation, but
Hmm.
we don't even talk about them because uh, you know, it's like maybe they don't have the social media platform, or maybe they don't have like this or that. But you know, you've got uh Adam Peterman and
Yeah.
Jeff McGavero, right?
Yeah.
Training
Yeah.
together in Montana. Um, both like extremely strong. I mean, Adam Peterman's won the race.
Yeah.
Uh, you know,
Yeah.
Jeff,
He's
who's a
like,
mountain runner, was second at Javelina, and
yeah.
most people would say that's not his playground.
Well, and Jeff McGavro, like I think this is like I don't think this is talked about enough. Like McGavro was chasing down David Roach on that last lap. Like he was getting close. Like he was moving well at Javelina.
Yeah,
So
and Dan Green was chasing down Jeff
and Dan Green was
McGavero.
chasing down Jeff McGavro.
Yeah,
And guess what? None of that matters now because it's like, you know, 8, was it 8, 9? The heck, 8, 9 months later. Like that none of
yeah.
that I mean, it tells you that they're all great runners, but it doesn't tell you what type of shape they are in, you know, the last weekend of June. You know, so you're right. It's gonna be fun to see. My
So,
God, like you just go down the list, it's insane.
I mean, I can't pretend that either of us have like a whole lot of perspective on this. It would be
No,
definitely
of course we
foolhardy
don't.
to say anything like that. But
Yeah, of course
you
we don't.
know, based on your racing experience, training racing experience, um, and when it's been successful for you, when you've had your
Mhm.
best days, if you were coming into this, um, would you rather? Well, this is going to be later. We're going to get into more would you rather, but coming into this race, um, would you prefer to be like really really healthy, right? Um, or like and maybe like like just not quite at the training level that you would have wanted,
Yeah.
or would you rather have like nailed that training, like, and you crossed everything off, right? You
Yeah.
everything off, but you're just just a tiny.
Low cooked.
I'm
Low
not even
cooked.
talking about hurt.
Yeah, yeah, just a little cooked. I honestly think, see, it's a really tough question. So obviously my 50K experience is probably, you know, my track record says that I'm not so great to answer this particular question, but in it, you know, just based off of my races, I would, and I'm sort of a runner. I like to stay, well, other than being injured, I like to try to stay. I enjoy running. So like I feel like I can not always, but I feel like I can jump into a race and I don't know, maybe not hold my own, but like I feel like I'm always up to race because I enjoy running. So I will still try to get like a decent amount of miles in for me, even if I'm not training for something. So I think the consistency with having some consistency, I think I would rather be a little bit undertrained, but know that, hey, like, I enjoy getting out there. So I think I have a few miles under my legs. I'd rather jump into a race a little bit undertrained, but healthy than overtrained and just overtrained a 1%, little bit cooked and a little bit, usually with that, mentally you're a little bit cooked too. So, what about you?
Yeah, I think I'm with you there. I
Mhm.
do think that if you're really strong and in a really good place with your training, you, at least from my perception, that you want to come into a race feeling like you could have done a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I not just from a stand I don't not a lot more, right? Like
Yeah.
not like you feel like, oh man, I didn't do this, I didn't do this, but just like maybe feeling like uh you could have done like one more long run, right? Or something like that. Just like I wish I had another week to train
Mhm.
or something along those. Like I think that's a good place to be. Just like I just wish I had one more week to
Mhm.
train because that shows that you're like in this hungry state. You're ready to go. The training wasn't more than you could take. So I'm saying you're doing all your stuff. You're crossing all
Yeah.
like you're doing your mobility. You're
Yeah.
doing all those things, but you just wish you had one more week. I think that's a
Yeah.
good place to be.
Oh, I absolutely think so too. Yeah, and that gives you sort of the stoke too after to continue to build upon that. Like if you're cooked going into a race and you sort of feel flat racing, it's like a deflating feeling. So it's sort of like almost like a letdown after a race like that. Where if you're like, hey, I think I left something on the table there. Like it sort of gives you that stoke, at least for me, it gives you that stoke to keep
Yeah.
pushing. Like, all right, what's next? And that's a fun place to be. Like that's like a really fun place to be. So yeah, so we got a stack field here, man. Did you want to try to?
Well, I wanted
Are we
so
gonna?
in talking. So one of the things I just wanted to like move through here
Sure.
was, in part, talking about the women's field for
That's where I was going. Yep.
for
Okay.
Western
Perfect.
states because once again, I think one of the things that happens is that we get so wrapped up in like the gym. It was like what happened with Cocodona, with like everybody being wrapped up in Courtney, and then here at Western States, it's like the story of
Yeah.
Jim
Yeah.
and him being out, and he's not even running the race. And we're talking about we're
Yeah.
talking about
Seriously.
Jim Walmsley, but
Exactly.
we have, I would say, I don't know whether arguably the women's field is deeper than the men's.
Yeah. I think it's yeah. Well, you don't really have like you don't have a Courtney, you don't have a Katie Scheid.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's similar to the men's race. You don't have a Jim. Hayden arguably could be like sort of your he would have been M3 anyway. Yeah, I think they're both like they're both very deep fields. But it's exciting. The women's race I think you have the men's race is stacked. We just went over that. But I think in the women's race you have the top tier being a bit wider. So
Yeah.
I think you have more runners that could win the race, let alone finish top 10.
Well,
Um,
especially since there's not a returning champion
there's
in the
not.
field. We have two
There's
returning
not.
champions in the men's field, no returning champion in the women's field. So um, there is 100% going to be a new women's champion.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I found really strange and this might just be because how people were filtering um, their searches and things like that,
Mhm.
was that on the women's field, Riley Brady wasn't like the first person people were talking about.
Yeah.
I was absolutely floored that
Yeah.
they became kind of just like oh yes, and Riley Brady. Like,
Yeah, they
I
just
mean,
smashed the Black Canyon
oh my
like
goodness,
course record.
and Quadra
And
here
and
just as well.
yeah, yeah.
Javelina. I mean, just
Javelina.
absolute. Basically right now, like absolutely on a tear, right?
Yeah.
And uh,
Unreal.
I'm I have to say that's where my money is right now
Yeah.
is on Riley Brady. I mean, partially because they're from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
That has got to be the person that I'm watching.
Absolutely.
And if Riley and Jeff
Oh,
bring home championships this year, I'm just gonna be like
it's gonna be awesome.
100% PA pride.
Dude, it'll be great. Honestly, it'll be awesome. Yeah, I know that's amazing. That is amazing. Like there's two front runners in the both fields that uh, could win. I mean, I think Riley has a I think the percentage of her winning is higher, probably, with all due respect, than Jeff's percentage of winning.
Yeah.
But it's certainly both possible. It's certainly possible. Certainly possible.
Yeah, yeah, I would say that the odds on Riley are very. You're not going to get a lot of return on your
No,
bet.
you're not.
Chances are, yeah, that's who I'm looking at. Of course,
Yeah.
Fuzhou as well. Extremely strong.
Yeah.
I don't know that we really want to get into our predictions at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so.
It's
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's just so deep. The women's field's just so deep. So,
yeah, very very excited
yeah,
for all of them. But yeah, let's move it back here to the East Coast. We've had a lot of action going on, multiple distances.
yep,
Some big races happening here. Most notably, I guess, was Sunapee Scramble, which was the
yeah,
selection race for the U.S. Team for Worlds at the up down classic mountain race distance. So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That was that thing. It's so stacked. It's insane. I mean, any of the national team. Uh, yeah, yeah. What am I thinking here? Races. The
yeah, the selection race.
what help me there? Selection races. Thank you. Um, are going to be stacked, but like you just sort of scanning the field here. It's just incredible. It's like the who's who of like the short distance racing.
Yeah, I feel like
It's incredible.
I mean, I felt like on the men's side, I don't know that it was really a shakeup so much,
Yeah.
but I think it was. I have to say, I think that Mason Copey in second
Hmm.
place had to be a, that's a breakout race for him.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is a big deal
Yeah.
for Mason. I have to just say, like, huge congratulations
Yeah.
to him. I've had the opportunity to race him on a couple of occasions,
Hmm.
meet him as well, and he's just a really vibrant,
Oh,
creative
cool.
guy.
Nice.
Really awesome. So, yeah, just love to see that he got that result.
Yeah.
And
Did he move out to Colorado? He's not. Is he originally an East Coaster?
I think he's originally from California. I'm
Oh,
not
okay.
su- I'm not sure about all this. He went to
Yeah.
school here on the East Coast and started
Gotcha.
trail racing here while on the East Coast. I think he was living in
Okay.
Ithaca.
Gotcha.
Um,
Okay.
but I think that's where he did grad school,
Oh, cool. Okay.
or
That makes
maybe
sense.
Syracuse or something around
Yeah.
along those lines.
New York State.
And
Okay.
yeah, but then moved out to Colorado,
Hmm.
um, and but yeah, just a really really cool guy. Um,
Awesome.
and but in keeping with some of the people that have come out of sort of this East Coast system of trail running, from Ian Golden and Trails Collective.
Yeah.
I think he was kind of linked in with them. Riley Brady, another person really,
Yeah.
linked in with them. Ellie
Yeah.
Pell, another golden ticket, recipient.
Yeah.
Very, very integral in the Trails Collective system. David Hedges,
Yep.
was linked in
Yeah.
with that as well. So just I think I just want to highlight that, I want to
Yeah,
highlight that this
absolutely.
has been sort of an early proving ground for people,
Sure.
and that where people have got their start, their first love,
Yeah.
puppy crush, onto into trail running has been on the East Coast, and
Definitely.
yeah, go and train at altitude and get big results, but you don't. I don't know. You don't have to start there.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. No, absolutely not.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah, stacked field there. I don't know if you want to, sort of note was it four of the
Yeah,
top, the
I
top
think
four?
I think we had four from the men's and women races.
Mhm.
Both are going to be going, have an option for the team at least,
Yeah.
and that's going to be David Norris, Mason Copey, Taylor Stack, and Cam Smith.
Mhm.
I mean, and you look down this, the people that are just on the outside looking in, whether
Yeah.
they'll get bids in, Andy Wacker, Dan Kurtz,
Yeah. Yeah.
Zach Erickson, even farther down, they've got a lot of names you're going to recognize. Jackson
I mean,
Burrell, I think, another former World's team, uh, you know,
yeah.
uh, member, down
Mm.
there. Andrew Hutchinson out of Harrisburg had a great
Yep.
race.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, Ben
really,
Robinson is down there as well. And I mean, guys like that are sort of up and comers. Devin Pancake, I know, his name. I mean, it's stacked throughout, really.
yeah,
Stacked throughout.
yeah. I mean, Stephen Kerr just, outside of, you
Mhm.
know, 19th in there as well. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but
Yeah.
then, in the women's side, I don't think a lot of surprises here.
It the the top three names are, I would say, the top three there are bigger, bigger names. I know obviously Allie McLaughlin in third, Golden Trails, World's Team. It sort of,
World
you could
champ.
go down the list. World champ.
Yeah.
So you have the top three: Anna Gibson, Lauren Gregory, and Allie McLaughlin, and then Courtney Copinger. The top three are big names.
Yeah.
Big names.
Yeah.
No, yeah, no, like you said, no real surprise there.
Yeah. But really, really wonderful, strong races. We had a couple of PA people, and East Coasters that were really showed up in a big way. Laurel
Yeah,
Moyer out of
yeah,
Lock Haven.
she's a really strong runner. I think she ripped one, I think, a couple years ago at Heiner. Got a really strong race. So I know her name for sure.
Yeah, yeah. I want to point out also Ian Schoten got a finish.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
yeah,
Very cool.
rounding out 60th place.
Yeah,
Um,
nice.
yeah, so that was big. Katie O'Regan, of course,
Yep.
also out of Lidditz. Um, uh,
Yeah, very strong
getting her
runner.
finish as well.
Very strong runner.
Yeah,
Yep.
just some really, wonderful races out there. Great to see those.
Yeah,
Wonderful performances.
absolutely. Sam, did you want to touch upon the Massanutten 100 at all?
Yeah, yeah, that's another big, fairly historic race, I would say,
Mhm.
right?
Yep.
Been going on for a while here. That runs in Virginia.
Yep.
This is, in those mountains of Virginia down there that I'm starting to get a little bit more affection for.
Yeah, that's it,
um,
man.
always a competitive race. Big friend of the pod, took down second place there this
Yep.
year. Simon Arendt, congratulations,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah,
Um,
Simon with a strong race.
having a great year. Nicholas Wirtz, also had the chance to race him a couple of times as well. Actually, maybe I've only raced him really once. Have you raced Nick?
I haven't actually. I've raced. I know Nick's name. I've run races in which he has run before, but I've never raced him. Personally. But I do know his name. Strong runner. I think he's a Maryland guy. Is he? I
Yep,
think he's a
Maryland
Maryland guy.
guy.
Maryland guy. And we got to shout out Jim Blanford in third. I mean, Harrisburg, or I'm not Harrisburg, Hamburg guy.
Yep,
You
very
know,
local here.
very local, just like a real local legend. The guy just keeps crushing, in his mid 50s. Spectacular race. So, yeah, congrats, to the finishers there.
Yeah, and then
Um,
the on the women's side, the win was taken down by Kristen Kelman.
yep,
Just a little under 25 hours on that run, which I think is very, very stout
yeah,
for
that's
horse.
a
So yeah,
yeah,
congratulations to all the people completing that big one down there.
yep,
Um, and then I guess most recently we had another big race in PA, World's End, 100K and 50K,
yeah,
um, which was a pretty I would say like deeply competitive this year.
yeah,
Uh,
it was.
was kind of surprised to see that. I didn't realize on the men's side of the 100K just how many people were showing up ready to throw down.
Yeah, that was great. Some Bear Right trail team members up there this weekend. Um, we'll let's go over the top three here, and then we can dig in. Let's go to the top four. Let's go to the top four. Let's do the top four. So Ben Quattromoni wins in a pretty, from what I understand, and get some feedback, a pretty sloppy sort of mud fest
That's
type of
what we
race.
heard. Yeah.
Real sort of slogging through an already tough course. So the 11:24 run by Ben Quattromoni is pretty impressive. Justin Scheid, who's I think run an hour quicker than his second place finish this year, 11:50. I think he's run in the
He
upper
was
tens there.
close. Yeah, he got close to the course. He's got the second fastest time on the course,
Yeah,
right?
so
Yeah.
speedy. Reagan McCoy, another strong, PA runner, of course.
Also, I think a
12.
good hour off his fastest time as well.
I can imagine 12:58, and then our Bear Right teammate uh, Brian Wiest comes in right in fourth, just about 20 minutes behind Reagan. But again, a real sort of slot fest there. Real tough to run, find your legs throughout a race that's already very difficult to find any type of rhythm. I can imagine it just threw the runners off even more so with the muck.
Yeah. Yeah, you had here on the women's side too, you've got
Yep.
uh Colleen Moffat taking the
Yeah.
women's win. Um Followed by we have here Jill
Jill
Dennis,
Dennis. Yeah.
Shannon Sibron in third position there, and
Yeah.
then Sarah Campbell out of Chester Springs, so here locally to us as well. But I'm not I'm gonna I want to look into Colleen's um, prior results here. I want to say
I
um,
know her name.
I
But
think
yeah, I don't.
she might be a returning champion here.
Yeah.
Let's look here. I know I'd seen her before. She's well, she won Naked Neck.
Okay.
She's got a second at Eastern States.
Oh wow.
That's what I'm remembering. No, she's not a returning champion here, but a very, very accomplished runner.
Yeah.
Congratulations to her on that win. Took fifth at the Bear 100 miler
Okay.
earlier this year, and guessing that was probably some. I think that's
Yeah.
really stout competition out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. That's a heck of a race.
So
Staying on the female 50K finishers. Definitely got to give it a shout out. Sandy Spittler, who
oh yeah,
won in 5:35. Like that was a heck of a race. Ryan Bear, who finished, and one of our Bear Right trail team members, him and Josh Finger, they finished right, just a couple minutes away from each other. But in speaking to Ryan, he said that he was running a little bit with Sandy, and she was like, I mean, just such a great person to talk to out on the trails, super kind, clearly, and absolutely ripped this course. A really, really difficult year, a really difficult course, very difficult year to run it, and a 5:35, like big time congrats to her. That was a solid race.
Yeah, you know what? I was trying to look into more results from Sandy.
Mm-hmm.
And on Ultra Sign Up, I was not able to get
Okay.
anymore, which
Okay.
I found strange. Because I'm pretty sure I recognized her name from some other races. Um,
Yeah.
and so I was just like a little bit thrown there. Because that name
I think
sounds,
there's another Sam. I think there's another Spittler that runs too, though. Right? Who's a strong runner? Could be wrong.
well, yeah, a woman, another
Yeah,
woman.
a woman. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I just don't. I'm not sure.
Okay. Well,
Um,
regardless, it's a hell of a run.
but yeah, I'm trying. Yeah, like
A hell of a run.
looking. Yeah, I'm trying to look her up. I've found her, but not
Mhm.
within the sort of ultra sign up sphere
Okay.
that I'm kind of used to finding people in. But
Sure.
I think Sandy is one heck of a runner.
Oof, yeah.
Well, clearly she is.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, very huge congrats.
All right. You want to jump over to the men's 50K?
Yeah, yeah. So Scott Lesh, yeah, taking it down, right?
Scott Lesh took it down.
Yeah.
And yeah, some good races out there. Got some good feedback again from Ryan and Josh.
Yeah, about how mucky it was.
How mucky it was. They came in 7 and 8. I know Ryan at least said he was feeling pretty good out there up until mile 20 or so, and then I think his ankles were giving him some trouble. But regardless, great effort out there by everybody. Tough race, tough conditions. So, congrats.
Yeah, I will say that's the first time I'd ever heard somebody say that they're like their ankles, like outside of like a
Oh
twisted or like sprained or broken ankle was the problem. I'd never heard.
no, it's real. It's real.
I'm
I
not saying
saw
it's
Ryan.
not real. I
I
just
know you're no. So I know you're not saying it, but I saw them. They're like balloons. Yeah.
but like,
Yeah. It was
why?
a.
Why?
I don't know. It's a good question. I'm not sure.
I've never heard anything like that. I don't know.
I don't know.
He needs to see a PT.
Yeah, exactly. But
So
do we have sound effects? Do we have any sound effects?
I'll
No
try
sound
to figure
effects.
something out.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
hey, you know what? That's a lot of racing talk. We've been talking about this quite a bit.
Yeah. All right.
I wanted to. So this is gonna kind of like wrap back around. This is our would you rather segment.
Yeah, I like this.
Of
This
the
is
show.
good.
All right.
Yeah, this is good.
So my first one here is
Okay.
kind of based on some of the conversation around heat training, right?
Okay.
So, and I'm going to talk about heat training specifically with
Mhm.
trail running, right? Because we have training, and then we have like the enjoyment of our trail running, right? Like that's really why we all got into it to start with, and then performance becomes like another part of it, right? Well, I for one listen to the Some Work All Play podcast quite regularly. And one thing they talk about is like heat training and heat adaptation all the time,
Yeah.
all the time. And one of the recent things that they've talked about has been that really when you do your heat training, you need to make sure that you let your body naturally like reacclimate, right? So you don't want to like use outside cooling to cool yourself down. Your body has to take care of it to like do the full adaptation. Otherwise, you don't really realize all that you could, right?
Ah, okay. That's interesting.
So here is my would you rather, or maybe it's like, would you make this deal with the devil?
Okay.
Sort of thing.
Okay.
All right. The deal is you get to win Western States and set the course record. But in return, you are no longer ever again allowed to do a post trail run stream plunge. Never again.
Oh, well, this is I didn't see it going this way. This is not what I expected.
Would you make that deal?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's what they have ice for. You know. dump
No,
some
but I'm
ice over
just
my
saying,
head.
on any of your runs, you
I mean, it's
finish up a run, you are you jump
yeah.
in that stream, you immediately die.
Oh, I see. Okay, this is a twisted.
Yeah, I
This is
mean it's a deal
twisted,
with the
Sam.
devil, man. You're not.
I
It's not
would
like you can be like, yeah, I won Western States. I'm gonna go jump in a
no.
stream. F you.
What? Nah, Western States, man. Western States. I love the post race. Like, I love the post race. Yeah, I don't know. That's actually a good question. I mean, guy, it has to like if I'm answering it honestly, it's a tough call. But I feel
You're
like I have
supposed to
to say
answer honestly. Wait, I don't
uh,
want you to lie to me.
no. But yeah, but I feel like I have to say Western States. I should be saying Western States,
Why?
right? Why
Why?
not? I'd probably get well. I don't know. No, it's got to be Western States. Western State course record and victory.
Yeah, but
Nah, I'd
you're
do that.
never allowed to. You're never allowed to finish that run. Just drop down into that
Hmm.
beautiful, crisp stream water and just
Yeah,
have it flow over your body. Just that feeling of like
yeah.
the steams coming off of your
Oh, I
head.
love it.
The
I do love it. Like I absolutely love it. There's actually so funny. I just texted my brother about this. Sort of side tangent, but so if we're running at like if we meet up right on a week like a Saturday morning, which doesn't happen often because schedules, right? But we'll go to let's just say we go to Blue Marsh, meet up at Blue Marsh, and there's like the Brownsville Road lot, which there's never anybody there, and it's a like a quarter-mile connector to a part of the back section of the trail, right? The back section of the lake, and there is like the perfect stream because it's a little bit deeper and a little bit like faster moving, and I don't know what creek it is, but it eventually flows into the lake, and it is like maybe like a half mile from the lot. So like and you pass it if you're going out that way, which you usually do like a lollipop and back. You know that you're going to get that at the end, and like that is such a great thing, such a great feeling. It is such a great feeling, right? And I feel like here's what it is. I feel like I'm selling out by saying like I'm selling out in some way by saying Western States, but I have to go Western States. Like I'll forgo that and like drink a cold beer afterwards and like pour some ice over my head and drink some water. Give me Western States. What about you?
I'm the opposite, man. I'm the
Huh?
opposite. I can't.
Mm.
That
Well, I guess I figured that because why else would you ask the question, right?
yeah
Why would you formulate that question?
yeah because
Huh?
I don't think there's anything better than that, and I don't.
Yeah,
And
there's
that's
not
the
much.
feeling that I would get to have, multiple times a summer for the rest of my
It's
life.
true.
I like. I
So if we were all running together, even at Ridley, right?
We
Ridley
jump in,
Creek,
you
you
got to
got
stand on the side.
yeah. I gotta watch you guys. But then like go back to the
Don't even dip
cars
your feet in. You can
and
forget about
I'll have like the cougar sitting in the passenger seat, and I'll still get to drink a cold beer.
it. Yeah, fine. Hey,
Give me
you,
Western States.
you do you. You do you.
Yeah, I'm selling out. I'm
All
selling
right.
out. All right, I got one for you here. Would you rather? This is like 75% serious, 25% sort of tongue in cheek, and then I have like a bit of a rant to go on. So this is like teeing this rant, right? Would you rather walk across a like hot 10-foot section of coals, like the hot coal walk, whatever that's called, or purchase a $270 t-shirt from Satisfy? Like there's a lot to gain from doing like those coal walks.
Yeah.
Like there's like a lot of like there's like you like have to like learn how to like sort of like internalize like the pain, and there's like there's a healthy there's something to be gained mentally from, right? So there's a healthy component to this potentially, or you might just burn your feet,
Yeah. I mean,
or you purchase a $275 piece of material.
I mean, here's the thing. It's like, financially, like I can absorb the t-shirt, right?
Mhm.
I can handle it. Yeah. I think I'm
I'm
gonna
glad it's taking
I
you
think I'm
this
gonna
long
have
to
to like
answer.
when you put out the hot coals thing, there's a lot of there's fear right there, right? Like I'd be scared to do that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to do it.
I'd be scared. But I also think that there are things that I feel like I want to take on that like are scary. To me, running 100 miles isn't scary. You
It's
know, like
scary for me
when
because
we
I've
talk
never
about,
done it.
but when we talk about these different things, 250 miles is scary to me. 100 isn't really scary to me anymore. But I do like the idea of taking on some scary things, and that would be scary. Um, so I think I would. I think I would choose that. I
Burning
think I would
coals.
choose the hot coal walk,
Nice.
partially because I really don't want to be like a satisfy boy, and it, I really don't.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I know you don't. That's partially that's one of the that's like part of the reason I asked you this question. Like I wouldn't ask Josh this question or Brian or Ryan or Rob. Like maybe I guess I would, but like you specifically are meant for this question. This question was catered to you, right? So my here's my thought. I just need to get this off my chest, right? Is like I actually think like it's harkens like the Satisfied brand sort of harkens back at least some nostalgia because like I grew up skateboarding, like sort of like the dirtbag, like sort of like mentality, sort of like that grunge era in the 90s, right? So like I can actually appreciate some of it. I can. But my problem is like that's like your identity. And then like someone who's just like dirtbagging it could afford like a sleeve off your shirt. Like it's like a contradiction. And I just don't like it. Like your identity, it's like you're like catering to this like dirtbag sort of like I think Max Jolliffe like fits it if their identity was different. Or if they like if they're who else is a Satisfy athlete? Uh why can't I think of his name? But
from Cocodona as well.
yeah.
Um,
I can't think of his name, but like they fit what it should be. And if Satisfy was like this is I'm speaking without knowing anything else about the brand other than their athletes, the look of their shirts and the price of their apparel. It's just it's like they're looking to cater to an audience that is like just not true to I think the ethos of the company.
yeah, you're thinking of Michael Versteeg.
Michael Versteeg.
Yeah.
So like um it like really put me off seeing the price of like the Satisfy stuff because I do think could I wear it? Could I get away with wearing it? No, I couldn't. Like I would like to be able to, but with that price, it's just unnecessary.
Yeah, I mean, I think that maybe Versteeg has talked about this a little bit in some of his
Okay.
his interviews and stuff, um, about some of the sort of maybe contradictory pieces
Oh,
of
okay.
it.
See, I didn't know that, and I should probably before I should probably listen to that before I speak about it. But go ahead.
Yeah, I think he's he talks about. I mean, he's had some long form podcast interviews and things along those lines.
Mhm.
Um, I'm not sure that he's reconciled it for himself entirely,
Yeah.
you know, but has expressed that he really liked the people and like kind of what they're trying to do. I think with maybe I don't know, like creating an identity,
Yeah.
a very specific identity and stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, the prices do seem to be like a kind of a ridiculous buy-in.
But it's to the point that it's like, and I again, I need to look more into it. I do. I need to look more into it. Maybe they're, I don't know. Yeah, I just need to look more into the company as a whole, right? Their ethos. But take it on like face value. You're making like quote unquote like fashionable, right? Like runwear. That's great. And like even if it was like let's just say like Solomon or North Face, like priced in that range, I could like understand it, but it's like so
Yeah,
like it's so expensive that it's almost like outlandish. So it like turned me off to the entire thing because I just think the like who they're trying to cater to and the price is so polar opposite. It just I
yeah.
don't know, sort of turns me
Got to
off.
be perfectly honest. I mean, like my favorite gear
Yeah.
that I run with. I've got I have a few favorite things, right? But like most of it I have
Yeah.
not paid a lot of money for. Like whether it be like favorite socks, a lot of times they're just something that was given to me at a race. Same
Yeah.
thing with yeah, different, all this different stuff.
Yeah.
My like I don't use like real handheld water bottles anymore. I just use the flasks
Yeah.
from because I've found that like it
Oh, the
crumples
soft
up nicely
flasks.
in my hand and
Yeah.
like it's easier to store away.
Yeah.
I have like a few different items that I've purchased that I really like, but by and large, stuff that I buy and I pay for outside of shoes, it it like doesn't really make it into the regular rotation. I
Yeah.
get rid of it. I don't need it anymore. It's like
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got fuel belts and vests and stuff like that that I basically never use
Yeah.
because I don't want to. I'd rather, stuff uh flasks into my storage shorts
Yeah.
um and like I said, it's just the stuff that we use, like race shirts and race hats and
Yeah. Definitely.
stuff like that. And um so I don't need to, I don't know, I just don't want to be buying running shirts. I don't
Yeah,
know.
and like unnecessarily too. Like I mean, the more you can, you can hold on to something, even if it has like a rip or a tear, like whatever, like we're running in this,
But
We're
like,
running in it.
think about it. Like, if you wanted to do a race and say, you know what, we'd like to do Satisfy shirts,
Yeah.
right? As far as like that's what we want, what to have for everybody.
Yeah.
Say they give you a deal, and you're putting on the 5K. You now are running now your 5K race entry is now
Yeah.
$350.
Yeah. Yeah.
or your,
Yeah.
let's just say your 50K, race goes from being, you know, $85 to $300
Yeah. Yeah, it's
because you
crazy.
want to do a Satisfy t-shirt.
Like dude, I got a shout out on like Dylan Bowman had on the podcast. We talked about this like via text a little bit. He had Alex King on, the owner of Terragnota, who is making like very quality, like at this point, very small quantities, like small, I don't know what you'd classify it as, like a small batch, very like out of his like house, um like
Limited run.
limited run. There you get, yeah, yeah, limited for sure. Apparel company, like running apparel, shorts, t-shirts. I think right now they have shorts, t-shirts, hats, and socks, and it might not even be all those. But what I found fascinating is a third party did a test on like, so his apparel sells for, he's very, very transparent about what he's how much he's buying the material for and how much he's selling them to. So like he's transparent. You know exactly what he's making profit wise before any overhead or what, investing back into the business for every piece of apparel, which is like wild, but it's pretty cool. I don't know that I think it's necessary for him to go quite that far, but he did it, and I think that's cool that he's that transparent. And he's also selling things, like he's selling like super quality t-shirts for like $29. And the interesting thing is, what he mentioned is, I didn't look at the study. I'll have to. I'm sure he's not. Seems like a very honest person. A third party did a test on like, and I don't know how they did it, but it was a test of like fabric, like wicking, like moisture wicking, like how well these t-shirts dried, essentially. His next to a bunch of the leading like outdoor and fitness like t-shirts, right, that tout themselves as like moisture wicking or whatever their technology is. And like his came in first for like $29. Like the only time you're gonna get a running shirt for $29 elsewhere is if it's on like that, like the
Clearance
super
rack.
like
Yeah.
clearance rack, like the clearance rack of the clearance rack. Like, and even then, you like very rarely find something for that. So it's like really, really refreshing how he's coming into the space. Like it doesn't need to be like, I think the reason, especially East Coast, like why we love the sport is because it's like just so like primal. Like what I think we, at least I'm speaking for I think our at least sort of condensed group, is like we love just like getting together, getting out into the woods. Doesn't matter like what shoes you're wearing. It doesn't matter like what shirt, what apparel you have. Like nobody gives a shit. Um it's like that, like, it's like he's really speaking to that audience. And I do think a lot of trail runners sort of have that like ethos, that's why we love what we do. It's a hobby, like not pros, we do it because we love it. So I think it's cool that he's transparent and he's giving something quality to like, this, the trail runners. I think it's really cool. So definitely got to shout him out. But that's where this like would you rather sort of spawned from. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Dude, I mean, very, deep stuff. Like the diatribe.
Yeah.
Appreciate it all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got let me
All
throw
right.
another one back your way here.
Sure.
We're getting into some borrowed time here, but
Yeah, we are. All right. What do you got?
So this is sort of a question about. I mean, I think a lot of things runners all struggle with. So you have the opportunity to take a magic pill. Magic pill, and it will take care of one part of your training, like entirely. It'll do it.
Oh
like,
man.
truly 100%.
Okay.
All right. What part of your
easy.
training is it going to be? Is it going to
It's
be
just so easy.
strength,
So easy for me.
mobility?
Yeah.
I guess it could be speed work.
Dude, you don't have to go any further. Like I can tell you exactly what it is.
Long runs.
Yeah.
So what is it? What's going to be? You don't have to do it. You don't have to do one little bit of it.
Mobility and stability. Like I enjoy.
No. Oh, it's mobility. I guess mobility and stability are, but not strength and mobility.
Strength I'm cool with. I like strength. Like any type of like lower body, core, upper body strength. I enjoy. I enjoyed like doing some weight training. Wow, like it. Enjoy it, dude. I enjoy the threshold. I enjoy like your tempo. Love the long run, obviously. Dude, it's like I love all that other stuff and like hate like the mobility and stability. Cause it's just like I know it's important, but like I can't I could see the results if I did it, but I can't see those like immediate results. And my ADD brain goes to like, oh, I'm getting these miles in. Wow, that was a good tempo work. Oh man, that felt like a really, really solid like strength session. The stability and mobility, maybe I'm just doing it wrong, but that's something that, dude, give me that magic pill. Let me know where the heck I can get that. What about you?
I don't know. I mean, I guess like pre-run warm up might be in there too. As far as one that I'd like to take a pill that would just.
I should have let you continue because that's like right on par. I don't do any pre-run warm up, so I should probably like.
Yeah.
Or you know what? Can the pill buy me like 15 minutes of time to do my pre-run warm up?
No, I don't think so. I think.
All right.
Oh goodness, yeah. I think for me it'd probably be strength. My strength work.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's the one that I would love to just like have it because I feel like it's the one I would benefit the most from.
Yeah.
And it's always like historically been the hardest one for me to do. So I think it'd be strength for me.
There you go.
But I also think that like there's something to be said for like with the pre-run warm up. I feel like for most people it's like an embarrassment thing.
Oh, really?
Right? Like, like
for me, I just like
everybody's there. You don't want to be the one guy that's like doing like all the stuff.
Well, you are the one guy.
I know.
You are the one guy out of our group, at least. But but it's smart. It's smart.
Yeah, I'm the one guy who's not injured.
You're the one guy that has not been injured. Everybody else is injured. Has Josh been? Well, maybe not Josh. I don't know how does Josh do? I don't know how Josh does it, but yeah. Well, I guess we should heed your advice then.
Maybe.
I still won't, but anyway, that was a good one though. I like that one. That was good. That was a good one.
The magic pill one. Let me see if I got it here.
All right.
Oh God, I forgot about this one.
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay, this is the last one here. All right.
All right.
So this is a racing one, right? So would you rather not have to do any like hydration or fueling during racing, or be guaranteed that you'll never have to poop again in a race.
Oh, wow, that's a good one, and that one's clearly catered to me. Uh,
I mean, just think about the positives here. You don't have to carry. You wouldn't have to carry any water, any nutrition with you. Don't have to pick anything up. You're good to go. No cramping, no nothing.
wow, yeah, yeah. I mean, well, yeah, it's gotta be
But
like I would.
you may be pooping violently the entire race.
Oh, okay, well, hold on, that's completely
Who
different.
knows?
That's completely different. I'm a pro. I'm a pro pooper out there.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm a pro pooper. So I would take the chance. I think I have things buttoned up pretty good there. I think I've figured that out pretty well. So I would say give me forgoing any hydration and nutrition. And no cramping. I cramp every single race longer than 20 miles.
Well, my point is that like it's all being taken care of, right?
That's
Like,
what I'm saying. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, and cramping goes into that. Yeah, if cramping's like that's like a byproduct for the most part, a byproduct. So yeah, so if I can be guaranteed no cramping and no like hydration and nutrition, but the poops are going to be there. Give me the poops.
yeah. I think it's trickier for me, man, because
Mhm.
I don't have your I've been sidelined for a lot longer in the Porta Johns than you have.
Well, so here's the thing too, though, is it depends. Like most trail, see, okay,
It is nutrition dependent, right? Yeah. So
yeah, but no, but my fear. I'm gonna keep this short. My one fear though is like I've never run a like. Okay, my fear. Let's just like if I'm lucky enough to run JFK this year, like my fear is having to use the bathroom on the towpath. Where are you gonna go? I guess you're just gonna hop off the side. Like that would be my fear. Is like if you were stuck with stomach issues that entire towpath.
there are Porta
There,
Johns at the aid stations.
I no, I know that, but like, what the aid stations are every like what, maybe 6 miles on the towpath.
Yeah, something like that.
Let's
They're
just say,
going
to
by
be fair.
quick. That's like it's like every. They're probably closer than that. They're probably every 30
Okay,
minutes at
that would
least.
be my. So basically where I was going with that is like I wouldn't want to be caught in a race where I'm like I can't just duck into the woods. So other than that,
You can.
other
You can.
than that,
You'd be fine.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry.
Okay,
Don't worry
so
about
okay. Well, then my answer's concrete. Then there you go.
it. All right.
There you go.
I think mine's a little trickier. I mean, I would say it's borderline for me on
Mhm.
this,
Yeah.
because then it would be like, oh, I can fuel however I want, and I don't have to poop, right?
Uh,
Like I'm not going to have any issues with that.
oh yeah, they could go. They could coincide.
So, but I feel like just basic, like I think we're both basing this on our race history. I feel like my
Mhm.
races a lot of times have been like more impacted by an impacted colon.
Oh,
But like, it's like,
oh man.
no, it'll be like, yeah, I think it, for me, I like the experience
Mhm.
of like really not being able to get through a race
Yeah.
with that stuff. Like I'd be like, you know what? I'll just, I'd rather, I'd rather have to not deal with that. So
Okay.
I take the blue pill.
There you go, man.
Wait a minute.
Well,
That's not, blue pill is something else.
the blue pill. That is something else.
Yeah.
That maybe that's a topic for
Yeah. No.
another
No,
podcast,
it's not.
or maybe not. All right. Well, these were fun. I like that. Maybe we
Yeah.
can get some
Well, we'll try
feedback.
to
Should
come
we
up with some
continue that?
more another time. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was fun. That was good.
Well, what do you say we say goodbye to everybody here then, Chris?
Yeah, I think it's about time. That was a good one. That was fun. Are you gonna tease? The next episode here or no?
Yeah, if anybody's still listening right now,
Yeah.
I think we're gonna hopefully have a conversation with East Coast's best hope, or one of the East Coast's best hopes for
Hmm.
Western States 100, and that's none other than Will Murray out of New Jersey. We're hoping to talk with him here pretty soon. Had the
Yep.
chance to run with him a week or two ago, and yeah, we're gonna hopefully have a chat with him and figure out or find out what's going to be going on with his race, and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, should be fun.
It'll be fun. Be fun. Good stuff. That was a fun one. Let us know what you think if you're still listening. And yeah, we'll but anyway, all right,
we're
Sam.
really good at ending these things. So
that was good. Yeah, we'll have to work on that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, to all of you, thank you for joining us tonight, and for Chris and I, happy trails.
Happy trails. Thanks, guys.